Well, being a scientist and a female scientist, and then as one guy at an institution that I will not name said, and then you had the nerve to be Black. I have known quite a bit of discrimination in my life, and so what I try to do is to make sure that wherever I am and wherever I represent, I think about equity. And with females, I really try to encourage them to, first of all, know all that they can. And that way, if they're challenged, there's not a question about their knowledge base, but encourage them to become leaders. If they know that there's something wrong, don't sit back and not say anything. I do that with young people as I talk with young people. And the other thing that I do is, as it relates to women, is to try to encourage women to tool themselves to take leadership positions in higher education, because in higher education, even today, we still don't have many women who serve in leadership roles at institutions. When I was a provost and a vice president for academic affairs, two different institutions, I was the only female on the executive cabinet as a vice president. Wow. And I was just at the new President's Academy this past week, and which also was a part of the annual meeting of the American Association of State Colleges and Universities, over 400 institutions in that organization, but most of the people who represent the institutions are male. And so we want to encourage as many women as we can to move into leadership roles, but you have to prepare yourself. And so, and with Medgar Evers being an institution that has a higher female student population than we do male population, we want to make sure that the women feel encouraged and supported. And in me, you have that at the institution.
That is wonderful. Now, I wanted to circle back to student success, since that is an area that you spoke about. And I wanted you to talk to us about what you're doing in the area of retention and graduation rates when it comes to your student body.
Well, one of the things, and retention is something that is complicated as it relates to how you keep a student enrolled in the institution. But one of the things that we know that is key is, of course, finances. Because of the students that we cater to, those students have a challenge a lot of times being able to stay in school. And so that's why I thought it important when I submitted that proposal to the mayor's office that we ask for support for scholarships for the students. But I would like to explain something, since I have this forum, about retention and graduation rates. Because in America, the way that it is defined by the U.S. Department of Education, the students that are full-time, first semester degree-seeking students are the only students that are counted as it relates to retention and graduation rates. So therefore, if a student comes into Medgar Evers and that student transfers to another college and graduates, Medgar Evers doesn't get credit for that student, and neither does the other college. And so I contend that we really need to look at a national level at the definition of retention and graduation rates, because anyone coming to commencement will see all of these students graduating and say, well, how could it be possible that the graduation and retention rates appear to be so low? And it has to do with the definition. Again, full-time, first semester degree-seeking students are the only students that are counted in retention rates and graduation rates.
Well, that's something for us to know, because that certainly informs what you can read about a school. Because as you said, you can go to another school and graduate and nobody gets credit for that. So that's a big loophole. Yeah. So let's talk about a program that you have that is novel and new, the cannabis program. Can you talk to us? And I believe did you have botany in your background as well? Did you have botany in your background?
Yes,
Yes.
I am a botanist. And so that's why it was so interesting when I arrived at Medgar Evers back in May. One of my first meetings was with the Executive Committee of the College Council, where they presented the cannabis program. And so I was able to share my knowledge of cannabis education, because I actually was involved in a program with another institution in another state as one of the early applications that went in for growth of medicinal cannabis. I actually served as a part of that company's advisory team, if you will. And so when I shared that, well, the people who were presenting, which was the faculty from chemistry and business, were excited because they said, well, we have someone who really understands. And so our program is in the chemistry department, but we also have a business component to that program. And it is a task force that developed the program. And one of the people on that task force actually is a student at another institution getting a Ph.D. at a prestigious institution, which I will not name. But that student is actually a product of the chemistry program here at Medgar Evers College. And so it's exciting. We have a number of cannabis related companies that are interested in partnering with us. And the first class that we offered here this fall actually had a waiting list. So it's exciting. We are the first institution in CUNY to offer a minor in cannabis education.
You know what I find interesting, though, when you look at the population of Medgar Evers College and you look at those who suffered because of laws related to possession and use of marijuana, so to speak. And now look at the big shift that we're seeing. I find that pretty amazing. During this conversation, we talked about disparities in health when it comes to Black and Brown people. So can you speak to us about, you have the nursing program, but I believe you're also part of a hub. Can you speak to us about that?
Lieutenant Governor and now Governor held a press conference, which I participated in, where it was announced that we would get $9.7 million to form this healthcare hub, which in our case, we wanted to enhance our nursing program through the ability to bring more students into the program. And so the proposal that we submitted as a part of the healthcare hub was such that we can do some renovations so that we could increase the sizes of our class because of our space limitation. But as a result of this healthcare hub, we, all three of the institutions, will be helping to increase the number of people who are able to go into the healthcare field as it relates to jobs in the healthcare industry, which of course, as you know, is so very needed. And with us being a predominantly Black institution where, most of our students are Black students, then it helps us as it relates to the whole health equity piece, because we get more people in the hospitals or on the front lines who look like most of the patients that will be coming into those areas from this community.
Yes, I'd really like to ask you, we talk about women and bringing more women into leadership. I think about STEM. And so is Medgar doing any partnerships, or what might you be doing or thinking of doing to encourage more of our young women to come into the STEM field?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. I'm excited to talk about STEM, of course, because I am a scientist But I would like to share, because I was excited when I did the stats. And at Medgar Evers, I think we are very unique in that 45% of our enrollment is STEM. And when you consider that 70% of our enrollment is female, then that would say that we have a large percentage of females going into STEM. And when we add the health sciences, which includes nursing, 49% of our students are majoring in STEM and health sciences, which is really unheard of for an institution, period. But the fact that we have such a high percentage of African-American students, I think it's about 82% of our students are African-American, we are actually contributing to the nation as it relates to increasing the percent of folks from America who are actually choosing STEM and then doing STEM careers.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ramsey. We are so looking forward to all that you're going to be able to bring to Medgar Evers College. And we're looking forward to having you come back on after we're out of this pandemic to learn more about what's going on at Medgar. So we will see you, certainly. We will see you next time on Brooklyn Savvy.